World Shaker, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much.
Man, you're looking good. Tell me about that nice background you're in. Are you in your house, your apartment? Where are you today?
I appreciate it. Actually, I'm in my office right now. Before we dive in here, I just wanted to thank you so much. I've been looking at you from the side and seeing your social media outlets, and I just wanted to say I love what you're doing in your space. I love the fact that you're out there giving and serving and helping people change the quality of their life, and I just love that you're cut from that cloth. So I feel super honored to be here, and I just want to thank you for having me.
I really appreciate that, for real, Danny. Okay, the Danny Nassi. Nassi, where's that the origin of that last name?
Originally, my mother and father are from Iran.
I love it.
I was born and raised in New York.
Very, very nice. Nice food your mother was making when you were young?
You bet, 100%. We always grew up, every night we had Persian food for dinner, and we waited till my father came home, no matter what time that was, 7, 8, 9, 10, whenever he walked in the house. That's when we sat down as a family, we had dinner.
Okay, so Danny, you know it already, but we're labeling you a world shaker. And a little of your bio: New York relentless top broker, fighting to get you the best deals in New York real estate, okay? Seen on $1 Million Listing, that's a big deal, American Dream, and Fox News, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, when you were little Danny, what are some things you were dreaming about becoming?
I think one of the biggest things when I was a little kid, I was a big athlete. So I played hockey, I played football, I played lacrosse. But I think my biggest dream when I was a little kid was to be a hockey player. But I remember my father always digging in my head, like, look, there's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 JOB. You got to pay the bills. But for me, a JOB was an acronym for just over broke. And one thing my father always told me, Tim, was that whatever you do, be the best at what you do. So from a young age, he always told me to be an entrepreneur, because he was one also.
So that's pretty awesome. So your mother and father played a key role in your life, and your father was there with affirmation, getting behind your career. What did that do for you, Danny? I just say that because a lot of people don't have a father that has done that for them. What did it do for you?
I don't think it was so much what he did. It was something that he said, but I think he really just led by example, because today he's 77 years old and he's working just as hard today as he did when he was 25. And he could have retired over 20 years ago.
Yes.
What did it do for me? I think he just really led by example. I think just by watching how hard he was always working and getting his knuckles bloody, getting his knees scraped, and what he was willing to do to sacrifice for his family was really the biggest lesson I could learn. He was my biggest influence.
Okay. So I like to learn lessons from world shakers. If I'm talking to Magic Johnson, Quincy Jones, everybody's got their little sides that helped them become who they are. When you were in high school, what crowd were you around? What kind of people did you hang out with in high school?
I hung out with my best friends, and all of us were all athletes. But I also wasn't a good student either. My friends were. But that was my crowd. My crowd was very diverse. I came from a community, a lot of Persian people lived in the town that I lived in New York, where I was. But I always found myself around all different kinds of people. Like, my best friend was Italian and Greek. My other best friend was Chinese. My other best friend, was white. So, I was around a mixture of people.
Okay, so you said a couple things that I like. Number one, the diversity, which I think you know as well as I do. The diversity helps you because it stretches you, right?
It does.
You get around people from different cultures and how they do life. The other interesting thing that I found what you just said is that you were an okay student. Was it you just weren't that interested, or what was up?
Honestly, I think, number one, I wasn't interested. Number two, I felt like school was teaching me how to be an employee, not an employer. And so I really never focused my time on it. I only focused on things that I really liked and that I really enjoyed. So school wasn't one of those things. Okay. When it came to applying to school, to college, I literally applied to, I think, 16 schools, and I got into 2.
Yes.
To give you some perspective.
Okay.
And I dropped out of college after 2 years.
Okay, so this is interesting, because so you find yourself on different news shows, TV shows. Most would think that you would have had to go to Princeton or some other school to get there, right? yet you didn't, found yourself and find yourself at a very top level. Sometimes we learn by conversation, sometimes we learn by education. How much did the right mentors play a role in your life? The right mentors?
Well, I had two very important mentors in my life. Unfortunately, both passed away. They played a huge role, but also life experience, you know, falling down to your knees and having to get back up. There was a lot of those lessons. I had real estate as part of my life for over the last 20 years, but I was also an entrepreneur. So there were times where I was selling antique reproduction furniture. There was another time where I built 7 car washes in South Florida. There was another time where I was just doing short sales. So eventually, and then I came back to New York. I have about 6 multifamily buildings that I own, about 125 rental units, and I had a property management company. I did a lot of things in my life that I didn't like that taught me so much because it pushed me in the direction that I wanted to be in rather than something I didn't want to be in. So that played a big role in my life also when I was trying to.
We need your help here because we got a lot of people that watch us. And so did you have a vision or a sight of what you wanted to be, but yet you found yourself doing jobs you didn't like? Was there a vision or a sight at that point?
I know what point you're getting to, and I'd love to say that I had this vision and I was able to manifest it. I think one vision that I always had was to be a business person, a business. So I went business to business to business. I worked a job when I was maybe 16, 17 years old. By the time I was 19 years old, I went into business for myself. Okay. Or I was an independent contractor, or I was a salesperson. I was certifiably unemployable. I would only work for myself, and I felt as though you can't put a ceiling on your own head. So that's why I always wanted to work for myself.
Okay, I find this super, super interesting. So at this point in your life, when you were working jobs that at that point you would rather not be working, okay? Did you ever feel like you were gonna live by default rather than design? So the default is like, oh crap, this is not working.
Yeah, the fear, of course.
Mine is I'm making choices and I'm going the right direction.
Sure, but Tim, I always also felt, when you're talking about fear, here's another acronym: false evidence appearing real. One thing I can say is, no matter how bad I might have felt, my perspective, how bad things were, I always believed in God. I always believed in the universe. I always had a deep faith that whatever I was going through, there was a seed of benefit in there that was going to lead me to my destination and, the experiences I need to have to become the professional and the human being and the love I wanted to give others through those experiences. So that's the way I look at it.
I love what you're saying, because I think we're similar in that case, is that even when I felt like I was wandering at times in my life, like, going to college, but having to work construction, going to college, but selling suits, going to college, being a waiter, there was just times I'm like, I don't like these jobs. That I think because of my faith in God, I always knew that somehow, some way, things just might work out okay.
Yeah, the way I look at it, and when I was a kid, I can't say that I looked at it this way. I had a lot of negative self-talk. I was very hard on myself. I knew a lot of successful people around me. So there was times where I had a belief where I wasn't going to be successful, or that I was too stupid, or that I wasn't smart enough, or it wasn't in the cards for me. Believe me, there was times that I spoke to myself like that. But today, I think the way I see my life and the way I try to mentor other people to see their lives is, imagine an artist painting a picture and you're watching him or her paint. In the beginning, they put those first few strokes, you have no idea what they're painting. But then as they add more details, you see this picture coming into fruition. And then as they finish, you're there for this magical masterpiece. So I always try to imagine that I'm in the process of where the details are just starting to come into fruition. So that's my perspective on where I am currently. I always think of it that way.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Give me an achievement as an adult that you have to admit, between me and you, if we're just sitting there chilling as friends, that you actually are proud of yourself. Like something happened in your life where you went, doggone it, I'm proud of myself. This actually happened.
It's 3 things, and none of them have to do with business. Number 1 is that I was lucky enough and I was blessed enough to marry the love of my life. That was the happiest day of my life.
Okay, so that is huge. That's huge. Okay.
The two things are I have two little girls, 9 and 11 years old, and those are my other blessings. Everything that has come into my life over that has just been icing on the cake. But I
Yes.
don't measure my life or my success or my achievements by, you know, whether I have money or whether I can look at the right side of the menu or whether I can, buy a car that I like. I look at it, my success by walking into my house. Is my wife smiling? Am I still making her laugh after 16 years?
Yeah.
Am I able to provide what my children need? Am I affectionate? Am I spending enough time with them? Those are the ways I measure who I am.
Okay. Help us out. Okay. Because in the world that we're living today, mostly on social media, so much of it is I'm on my grind. I'm on my grind. It's 4 a.m. I'm on my grind. Some of these guys look like it's like you're like, go back to sleep, dude. So you're a guy who's getting things done, right? But yet you're saying your family is your priority,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So I'm loving this because I don't really feel like you're chasing. I feel like you're cooperating. There's a difference between chasing and cooperating.
I think when you're obsessed with being a good father and a good husband and a good friend and a good son and a good brother and a good cousin, right?
Yeah.
You're obsessed with, wanting to bring the best out of yourself in your career.
Yeah.
And you couple that with hard work and effort and dedication and tenacity. I feel like there's no question that everything will come into fruition as you wish and as you desire if you're willing to put in the time and effort and the sacrifices you have to do to make that happen. I agree with you. There's a lot of people showboating and saying, I do this, I do that. I don't give a shit because there's no draws in the casket. Okay. I don't care to be a multi-millionaire. I care to be healthy. I care to have a family that loves me. And I care that if God blesses me so much to be successful enough to help other people, then that's what I want to do. My father always taught me, Tim, like you can't light a candle in someone's house unless you have a candle lit in your house first.
Wow.
So that's my goal every day.
I love it, love it, love it. Okay, as far as the career is where it is right now, where's your enjoyment level? How much are you enjoying the career side of your life?
Honestly, the career side of my life, it took me a really long time to find my purpose. And I was very unhappy for a very long time. But just about 6-7 years ago, when I got rid of my property management company, I gave it to some family, and I decided I wanted to go full-time luxury real estate. Ever since then, this is the happiest I've ever been because every morning, Tim, I wake up and I say the following. I thank God for my life, for my wife, for my kids. And then I say, I want to, I get to, I choose to, I love to. And then I pop out of bed because every day I get to do something I love now. There's nothing better to me than going out every day in Manhattan, viewing these beautiful properties, getting to meet all sorts of kinds of people in life that are just so interesting and amazing. There's nothing better to me. Nothing better.
I love it. All right. So, Danny, I got 2 more questions for you.
You can ask me as many questions as you want to.
Are you enjoying this?
I am, and I'm enjoying connecting with you because, again, listen, I was looking at you on social media, and I could, I think even if Ray Charles was alive, he could see how much you care about people. And you don't have to do this. You do it because you want to. You do it because
crap, man. I care.
Yeah, I know you care. Anyone can see that you care. And I feel lucky, I feel blessed that there's people like you that are out there that care enough to take time out of their schedule to believe in people who may not believe in themselves fully because you know that they're capable of living out to their potential. And to have someone like you, someone's lucky enough to have a mentor like you, Tim, man, they should be treating you like royalty every single day because had I met you earlier in my life, I would have been knocking down your door, begging you to be my mentor, begging you. And I would have served the crap out of you.
Yeah, well, we're brothers now. I mean that. I can feel your spirit. We're brothers now. Danny, help us. How do we get through a life interruption? Like there's people watching us right now where they got divorced or they became ill or they lost their money. They're doing well, they have momentum, and then a life interruption hits them. Give me maybe 1 or 2 things that have helped you get through a life interruption.
I mean, there's 2 things that I can say. Number 1, let's say they're not doing well, okay, financially or career-wise. Because the one thing that really helped me when I was looking to find my purpose, I asked myself one question. It took me years to answer. If money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your time?
Wow. Okay.
If you can answer that question for yourself genuinely, authentically, with all your heart, you will figure out your purpose. I read all the books in the world that tell you how to be successful. None of them will tell you how to find your purpose, because only you can find it.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, when something bad hits you, let me give you an example. My best friend from when I was 7 years old was in the first tower on 9/11 that got hit, and he was on the 105th floor with Cantor Fitzgerald. That was the worst day of my life, and the following year was probably the worst year of my life. You have one choice.
Yeah.
Two choices. You can choose to lay down and feel like shit and be depressed, and you know what? It's very, very easy to do that.
Yeah.
Or you can keep the person alive by talking about them, by sharing their memory, and by living their life through you and what they taught you, and making it a better place and moving forward. So the best thing you can do is let it go, whatever happened, and move forward. It's a part of life. You have to have dark to have lightness. You have to have weakness to have strength. You have to have fire to have water. It's just a part of life, that yin and yang. You just have to weather the storm and get through it. Because if you don't, then you're just going to be like everyone else. And that's the easy way out.
I love what you're saying. And it's amazing how you had tragedy hit you, bam, 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 bam. And sometimes if tragedy just hits somebody, bam, they can get up. But that bam, 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 you're telling me you still have to somehow muster up the resilience to get up off your ass and just keep going.
There's no choice. There's no choice, Tim. You either get up or you die. I'd rather get up. I want to live.
Yes.
Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what the next day holds. Yeah. Because 2 years after that, the love of my life, God put an angel right in front of me.
Yes.
It made me feel like I want to be alive again.
Okay, I'm gonna end in a lighter moment. And you're a good speaker too. I could tell you can speak.
Thank you. I spent 2 years on the road doing that.
You're good. Okay, lighter moment. I'll tell you mine real quick. I'm sitting at the Laker game, okay? It's Magic Johnson, Tiger Woods, Jim Carrey, and the owner of Guess Jeans. The ball goes out of bounds, and it was back in the days where Dominique Wilkins was playing basketball. The ball goes out of bounds, and Dominique gets it from the ref. He's about to throw it in, and he pauses with all those guys in the front, and I'm in the middle of them. He goes, Tim Storey's in the house, and everything's going to be okay. And he passes the ball. I'm like, this is crazy.
That's a great story.
Isn't that a great story?
That's a great story. Put me in a good mood.
It was a crazy moment of being in this Hall of Fame, and then for Dominic to shout me out. It doesn't have to be a sports story like that, but you got to have something in you. Whether you're on vacation, you're at the beach, you're at Disneyland with your wife and kids. Give me a Danny moment where you just almost like had to pinch yourself, like, holy crap, you little rascal, you turned out okay.
I don't know. I think it was I was doing a deal actually with my father, a specific deal. And we were chasing this deal for almost 2 years, and then we kind of let it go. This is now as a principal, not as a broker, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So we end up calling the broker who's representing the deal because there was another deal that we were looking at. But then we happened to ask him about the deal that we were chasing. He said, you're kidding. He goes, I'm actually running over to go hand this contract to someone who's buying this deal. We're like, well, how much was the contract for? He gave us the price. We said, listen, man, we're going to pay that amount. Why did you go over to that guy? He said, I'll come bring you the contract right now, but you can't change it. We said, bring it over. We bought over the contract. We took the deal. We end up meeting with the sellers. We changed the whole contract, which never happens. Okay, we have to go backwards. We end up taking this deal that we were negotiating for almost 2.5 years. And what was special about that was that we were getting offers on the property. First of all, I'm going to hold this property for the rest of my life. We were going to, we negotiated for 2.5 years. The offers were coming in. We held this property, but what's special about it was that it was me and my father. Nothing's better than that.
Woo! No, that's good. Full circle.
Good. It felt good because we didn't always have the best relationship, so that was a moment for me where I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
learned a lot from you today. I love the fact that you're so close to your family. I think your culture and your heritage gave you strength. I love the fact that you learned somehow, some way to bounce back, right? And that you're living in the moment. You're fully present, fully feeling, fully alive. Talking to my friend, Danny Nassi. So Danny, best way for us to get a hold of you, people that are following you, best way.
Tim, I think the best way people can find me is on Instagram. You can find me at DNassi. And if you want to find me on my other social outlets, you can just go to my website, DannyNassi.com. All my social media outlets are over there. But again, you know, I feel the connection. And I got to tell you, man, you have a very warm way of carrying yourself. And you got the best smile. I wish people could see you right now because you're smiling from LA to New York. And I can see how much love exudes out of your energy. And I just want to thank you so much. I'm humbled, you know, by being here, by having the opportunity to just, you know, rub shoulders with someone like you. And I just want to thank you so much for your time. And I really appreciate you. And I can't wait to spend time with you face to face.
You're very welcome. I look forward to seeing you, Danny. I really do. So you guys are watching World Shakers, Danny Nassi, World Shaker, History Maker, life.
Yeah, baby. Let's do it.